Hello, students, and a very good morning to you. Students, as we are discussing chapter 4 of class 8 science, that is metals and non-metals, and this is the second part of this chapter. In previous part, we have studied about physical and chemical properties of metals and uses of metals. Now, in this part, we will discuss about physical and chemical properties of non-metals and uses of non-metals. So students, in previous part we have studied that there are 118 elements are discovered till now. Now out of these 118 elements, there are 18 non-metals, and out of all these 18 non-metals, some are found in free state, means some are found in uncombined form or elemental form as hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, sulfur, etc., and noble gases also, and some are found in compound form, and the compound of these elements are as carbonates, nitrates, oxides, sulfides, etc. Our earth crust, atmosphere and ocean, they are constituted by non-metals and their compounds. Even the tissues of living organisms, means animals and plants also, they are also made up of non-metals and their compounds. It means that non-metals are present almost everywhere. Now, when we talk about the properties, so non-metals, they are quite different from metals and have different physical as well as chemical properties, means these properties are almost opposite to that of metals. Now, out of 18 non-metals known, some are found in solid state as boron, carbon, silicon, phosphorus, etc. Some are found in gaseous form as hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, etc. And only one non-metal is there which is in liquid state, that is bromine. Now students, we will discuss about the physical properties of non-metals. So first of all, non-metals are generally solid and gaseous form, as I have told you, and only one non-metal is there which is in liquid state, that is bromine. Now the next one, non-metals are usually dull or lusterless, means they are not shiny. They do not have shine on their surface. But again, two exceptions are there, that is iodine and graphite. They are shiny. So students, you can see this property of the non-metal, that they are lusterless, this is just opposite to the metals, because metals, we have studied that metals are shiny, they are lustrous, but non-metals, they are lusterless, they are dull, except two non-metals, that is graphite and iodine. Now, when they are tapped with a hammer, they break down into powdery mass like coal and sulfur. It means that non-metals are non-malleable. This property is also just opposite to the metals, because metals, we have studied that metals, they are malleable. When we hammer them, when we beat them, then they convert it in the form of thin sheet. But here you can see, when we break down, when we tap non-metal, any of the non-metal with hammer, they break down into the powdery mass. Now, they are bad conductor of heat, means they cannot conduct heat. They are bad conductors of electricity except for graphite, means all non-metals, they are bad conductor of electricity. They cannot conduct electricity. They are insulator except for graphite. So in many activities you have studied that graphite is a good conductor of electricity, and when we use it in a circuit, very easily it conduct electricity, it allows electricity to pass through it. And all others are bad conductor. Then they are not sonorous, means they do not produce any type of sound like metals. Now next topic is chemical properties of non-metals. So chemical properties of non-metals also, they're opposite to metals, as we have already discussed about the chemical properties of metals, and we have seen that they are highly reactive. They can react at normal temperature also, but non-metals, they do not react with other elements at normal temperature. Means the reaction occurs at very high temperature, and not all non-metals react. So first of all, we will see what happens when non-metals react with oxygen, means action of oxygen on non-metals. So non-metals, they do not react with oxygen at room temperature, except white phosphorus, because white phosphorus has very low ignition temperature. As you know, it is only 35 degrees Celsius. That is why white phosphorus reacts with air and form at room temperature it reacts, and it form its oxide. So it readily reacts with oxygen. That is why it is stored underwater. Now the next reaction is in between hydrogen and oxygen. So hydrogen also at room temperature, it generally not react with oxygen. So when hydrogen is ignited in the presence of oxygen, when it is burned in the presence of oxygen, then it burns with a pop sound and form water. Just like that, carbon and sulfur also, when they are ignited with oxygen, then they react with oxygen and then they form oxides, and these oxides are soluble in water, and these oxides are acidic in nature, which we can test by using blue litmus paper, which will turn into red color. And oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature, as we have studied in the case of metals that their oxides are basic in nature. So oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature. Now next, action of water on non-metals. So non-metals, they do not react with water at room temperature. Some non-metals are there, as for example oxygen can dissolve in water little bit. That is why this is the property of solubility of oxygen, which is very very important for all living beings, especially the plants and animals which are present in life. Means the aquatic plants and animals, they utilize that oxygen which is dissolved in water for respiration. So oxygen can dissolve in water. Next thing, chlorine. Chlorine also, it can dissolve in water and it form acidic solution. And when this solution is heated or it is kept in sunlight, then only it forms hydrochloric acid and oxygen. Now, uses of non-metals. So first of all, when we discuss about the uses of non-metals, then first of all we will discuss about the use of oxygen. So we all know oxygen is very very important for all living beings, all plants, animals, even microorganisms also, because they use oxygen gas for respiration, which is very important process takes place in the body. Then oxygen, it is required for combustion process also, because you know that for the process of combustion, for the process of burning, oxygen is very important, because the things burn, the substances burn in the presence of oxygen. Then oxygen is very important to burn fossil fuels also. It is very important for extraction of metals from their ore, and it is very important for preparation of variety of chemicals. Now, the next non-metal is sulfur. So, sulfur is used as medicine as germicides. Germicides means the chemicals which are used to kill germs. Then they are also used as antiseptic, means the chemicals which used to kill microorganisms. Then they are used in vulcanization of rubber. So, what is vulcanization of rubber? Vulcanization of rubber is the process of treating rubber with sulfur or any other sulfur compound under heat and pressure to enhance its property. And which type of property? To improve its elasticity and strength. So this process is called vulcanization. Now next, it is used to make sulfuric acid. And sulfuric acid is then used in making synthetic fibers, many type of drugs, dyes, explosives and fertilizers. And sulfur is also used to make matchsticks, fireworks and gunpowder, means some chemical explosives. Now, the next nonmetal is phosphorus. So, phosphorus is used in making phosphoric acid and superphosphate fertilizers, which are used in agricultural fields. Then they are used to make alloys, means it is used to make alloy with bronze, and it can resist corrosion. Then it is used in making matchstick, fireworks, and smoke screen. Then nitrogen. So nitrogen is used by plants to make protein. This is very important. You all know that plants need nitrogen for making protein. So nitrogen is in the elemental form. It is present in the atmosphere, and you know that some bacteria are there. They can replenish that nitrogen, or they can fix that atmospheric nitrogen in the soil. But when soil become deficient in nitrogen and no any microorganism is present to fix it, then in that case nitrogenous fertilizers as urea or NPK, they are added in the soil. So nitrogen is very important for plants. It is used, means the liquid nitrogen is used to preserve blood and donated organs. It keeps them safe and protected. Then nitrogen is used in food packaging. It is used in the preparation of ammonia, which is used in the preparation of nitrogenous fertilizers. And nitrogen is very important constituent of living tissues also. Now silicon. Silicon is used to make alloy and the preparation of silicones. So silicones are the compounds. They are an important ingredient in making hair conditioners or shampoos or hair gels also. They are used in making varieties of toys also. Now silicon is used to make semiconductor devices like transistor. Then carbon. Carbon is found in three different allotropic form as coal, graphite and diamond. So diamond is a gemstone which is used in jewelry and in cutting rocks and glasses. Then graphite is used for making electrodes in dry cells. It is used in making dry lubricant also. Powdered graphite is used as a dry lubricant, and it is used as pencil leads also. Now the next non-metal is chlorine. So chlorine is used in making bleaching powder and gamexine. Gamexine is a pesticide, and it is also used as bleaching agent in paper and textile industry, and it is also used to disinfect water in municipal water treatment plants. Now next non-metal is iodine. So iodine is used as an antiseptic, and it is when its solution is made in alcohol and potassium iodide, then it is called as tincture of iodine. So this tincture of iodine is applied on cuts, means it can cure cuts. Then its paste is in petroleum jelly. It is used to relieve pain also. Then it is used in the preparation of iodized salt to prevent goiter, because students, iodine is very important for our thyroid gland. Because of the presence of oxygen, because of the presence of iodine, that thyroid gland is able to make thyroxine hormone, which is very important for our metabolic processes. So in the absence of that iodine, thyroid gland swells up, and this condition is called goiter. One more thing about iodine, that Ki, silver iodide, is also used in cloud seeding, means for artificial rain also it is used. Now next group of nonmetals is noble gases. So noble gases, they are non-reactive, means these are the gases, they do not react with any other element. and they are called noble gases or rare gases or inert gases. So first of all, helium. Helium is a noble gas which is used in balloons because it is lighter than air. Then deep sea divers also they use helium oxygen mixture for respiration underwater, and this mixture is also used in the treatment of asthma. Then neon. Neon is used in special electric tubes called neon signboards, and it glows with orange red color. Then argon. Argon is filled in electrical bulb, and it glows with green color when it is mixed with mercury. So generally we have studied that argon with nitrogen, it is filled in electrical bulb, that you have studied in your previous classes also. Then next one, krypton. Krypton is a non-metal which is a noble gas, inert gas, which is used in high efficiency miners cap lamp. So in that miner's cap lamp, this krypton gas is filled. Now radon. Radon is also a noble gas which is used in radioactive researches. So these are the uses of noble gases which are non-metals. Now students, this chapter, that is metals and non-metals, are this chapter is completed now. Thank you students.